All right. Do you want to welcome everybody, Chandler, and share a little bit about your story? That would be great.
Absolutely. So, thank you everyone so much for joining. I think I told most of you this is my first Zoom with Juice Plus. Oh, there's Leslie that I've done. So, I really appreciate y'all all hopping on. So me and Skylar, I think we were introduced to Juice Plus. It was almost 3 years ago now by Julie. And I'm going to be honest, we were not the best at taking our Juice Plus at first. But I don't know, there's just something about having a baby that I think just makes you care a little bit more about your own health and especially your family's health. So, um, we started taking our Juice Plus again recently and have just really been focusing on our health just overall the past year. And so it's just the more that I research it, the more that I get on these calls, the more parties that I go to. It just is such an important product. And we really take it more to kind of bridge that gap between what we should be eating and what we do eat. Um, because we just do not eat nearly enough fruits and vegetables, like not even close. So that's really just what we're trying to do. And really, I think I wanted to start sharing it with others because I don't feel like anyone really does that. I don't know many people that get the amount of fruits and vegetables that they're supposed to be getting in their diets on a daily basis. And so I want me and my family to be the healthiest that we can be. And so I want to share it with y'all too, so y'all can be the healthiest that you can be as well. So, I think Julie's going to share, but I just wanted to let you know that. Oh, hey, Zach. I just wanted to let you know that I'll follow up with everybody tomorrow. And if anybody has any questions or anything that you want to expand on, you can just let me know.
Okay. Oh my gosh, Chandler, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. It's so great to hear your journey. And I know you needed a little convincing at the beginning, but that's okay. Like, so did I. Somebody shared Juice Plus with me years before I ever, decided that I was going to take it. And I'm so glad that I did. But in the beginning, it was just another thing. So I'm going to share a slide presentation tonight. And it's about 15 minutes. You're going to learn a lot. And hopefully at the end, you're going to, just really have some thoughts around what Juice Plus is and why it might have a place for you in your life. So why we are here is because we are all on the spectrum of health. Either we are sick and we're trying to work our way back to health, or we're experiencing a life of vitality and we don't want to lose it. Either way, that's where Juice Plus comes in. So this is the negative slide of the presentation, but we have to be realistic about where we're at. I'm not going to necessarily read this to you because you can take a look at it, but this is the reality of what we're facing right now. And it's happening younger and younger. So a lot of these diseases are happening to younger people when before, like when my mother was my age, I'm 49. When my mother was 49, she didn't know anybody with cancer. And now we have 1 in 2 women and 1 in 3 men which will develop cancer. I mean, I can count, I need all my fingers and my toes times 2 to tell you all the people that I know that have cancer. So in one generation, we've gone from something that was not common at all to something that we now call normal. But I would disagree that it is normal, although it is common. So our children are harmed more by poor diet than drugs, alcohol, and tobacco combined. That's from Dr. David Katz, who's head of prevention at Yale. I think the tide is starting to turn. I do think that people are starting to recognize that we don't have to be victims, that we actually can be proactive. And that's really where Juice Plus comes in. So I want to just kind of back up a little bit to a macro vision of what food is and how we actually view food. Much like an iceberg, we are taking a look a lot of times at macronutrition. Okay. That's the protein, the fats, and the carbs. And I don't know about you ladies, but how many times are there different diets or ways to eat that are all focused on the macronutrition, right? You're going to be high protein, low carb, avoid fats, eat fats, fats good for you, fats bad. I mean, we really focus here and we have so many options, right? But what we don't see and what actually makes up most of the iceberg is the micronutrition. It's what our macronutrition is made up of. And all food is not created equal. Okay. So the micronutrition is really where the power of the food is. So, purpose of food, we know from macros, when we're eating our fats, our proteins, our carbs, it's building our body and it's fueling our body. But what is micronutrition doing? Micronutrition is actually conditioning our body. And you might ask why that's important. It is so important because it impacts our physiology. And what is physiology? It's the function of a system. And our body is really just made up of a bunch of different systems. Okay, so you see some of them listed here. And how our body works best is when it's conditioned well, and it's conditioned well by micronutrition. Okay, so how well does your muscular system recover after a workout? How well does your immune system regulate when you come up against pollen? I mean, there's a really great, we're headed into another allergy season right now, which again, we think it's normal to have allergies. It's common to have allergies. It is not normal, and it's a sign that your immune system is not regulating well. How well does your respiratory system restore itself when it comes into contact? So you can see that our systems function either poorly or well, depending on how we are fueling our body. So this is really where Juice Plus comes in. And what is Juice Plus? This is where I really like to stop and kind of drill down, because I mistakenly thought when I heard about Juice Plus that it was just like everything else, that it would have been found at GNC or Walmart or Target with all the other supplements, but it isn't. It is unique, and it's the only thing like it on the market. So the story is that Dr. Smokey Centillo, over 30 years ago, was helping cancer patients heal by juicing. And he had these juices and he had people on a regimen and he was having great results. His own father ended up with lymphoma, was given 3 weeks to live, and he literally carried him out of the hospital. He wasn't eating. He really was kind of taking him back, they said, to die. But he asked his dad, would you be willing to try this juicing? And his dad said, sure. Well, Smokey thought, I need to make these juices even more powerful than I'm doing. And so instead of just the juice, which, who here has a juicer? I did. It's in my basement now. But, juicing was popular and still is, but you lose a lot of it, right? Because you take out all of the pits, the peels, the seeds, and the rinds. So what he did was take all the vegetables that were ripened on the vine. And this is key. And I really think this is what makes Juice Plus different. Everything in it is vine ripened. When we go to the grocery store now, there's nothing there that's vine ripened. I went and bought peaches last week for my fresh time. They were from Michigan and they were shipped. They were hard as a rock, which tells me that they were picked early. They were picked before they were ripe. And the problem with that is, even though I could put it in a paper bag, like my mom taught me to ripen them, I'm never going to get the nutrition that they were intended to have, because 90% of the nutrition isn't even going into that peach until it's ripening. It's the ripening process was when the nutrition flows into, because that's how they were designed to be eaten, not shipped, across the country from different countries. So he took all of these vine ripened produce, and instead of juicing them, he put them in a giant mixer. Kind of think of Vitamix. He threw everything in. So not just the fruit, but the pits and the peels and the seeds and the rinds, and he blended it all up. And then he dehydrated those. And he then, with his dad, he started feeding them to his dad, and his dad slowly got better. Not only did he not pass away in 3 weeks, he lived another 6 years, had amazing quality of life, helped Smokey build his house, and Smokey knew he was onto something. So he ended up then taking it to Juice Plus, and they encapsulated the powders. And that's actually another unique thing about Juice Plus. There's a lot of powdered veggie products out there, but they're not encapsulated. And just like an apple, when you cut an apple and it starts browning or oxidizing, it's losing its nutritional value. That's the same thing that happens to your plant powders if they are not encapsulated. So that's a real key for Juice Plus. So I love that story of how it came to be. The plant powders hit the market in 1993. We're celebrating 30 years this year, actually next month. So what is unique about Juice Plus? I said it's the one and only of its kind. I've studied nutrition for over 20 years. And as I said, I have not seen anything like it. The first thing is that it has a nutrition label on the back. So for those of you that have supplements in your cupboard, I want you to do me a favor when we're done here. Go look at them. And then when you turn them around, you're going to see that they all say supplement label on the back. But Juice Plus, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this in my light, but it says nutrition label. Okay, nutrition label, what is that similar to? That's what you're going to find on the back of a bag of carrots. That's what you're going to find on food, because Juice Plus is recognized as food. It's just ground up fruit, vegetable, and berry powder, as we just kind of showed how that happens. So it has a nutrition label, which means the body recognizes it. We do not have a vitamin deficiency. We have a whole food deficiency. And this is where Chandler said it bridges the gap between what we are eating and what we should be eating. The next thing, it has a third-party certified NSF, National Safety Foundation. So what this says to you is that it is beyond organic. It is tested not once, but twice. Every single capsule is tested to make sure there are no pesticides, no herbicides, no fungus, no mold. It's the cleanest product that I know of out there. There are less than 2% of supplements that have this certification, because it's really hard to get, because people aren't doing clean. They're not doing it cleanly. You know, there's fillers and there's other things in there, so they don't bother getting the certification. And finally, it's the most researched brand name nutritional product in the world. It's also the best-selling nutritional product in the world. But they have done research, 47 clinical studies done on Juice Plus and counting. So here are just some of them, some of the results from Juice Plus. And as you can see, these aren't necessarily saying, it's not giving you a certain result. Well, it's giving you a certain result from these systems. So you can see it's looking at the cardiovascular system. It's looking at our cholesterol, our metabolism, our microbiome, our digestive health, our lung. These are all the physiological systems of our body that Juice Plus is helping. But pretty incredible, all of the results that they have seen. And the thing is with Juice Plus is that all of the studies that they've done have all been published. Unlike a pharmaceutical company who has to bury a ton of their studies because they don't show what they want them to show. Here's the reality: fruits, vegetables, and berries are never going to do anything but good in the body, which is why they're having the positive results that they have. This is one of my favorite studies, and I know it's a little blurry and hard to see, so hopefully you'll track with me while I explain it. But for anybody who, we saw heart issues, heart disease is one of the leading causes of death in men and women. And so this has to do with the impact of Juice Plus on the brachial arterial constriction, which has to do with our arteries in our heart. So this is the brainchild of a group of cardiologists that were at the University of Maryland, and they decided to take a group of people and feed them a high-fat meal and then measure the constriction of their arteries after that high-fat meal. Now, everybody is going to have some constriction. That is normal. And that is the very first columns that you see. You can, if you look there, that bar, it's 50% constriction across the board. So everybody, after eating that high-fat meal, it was fast food, McDonald's, had 50% constriction. What they did after that is they had a placebo group. They had a group that they put on just our fruits and veggies, and then a group they put on our fruits, veggies, and berries. They sent them home with their capsules, and for 28 days, all they did was take Juice Plus. That's the only difference. So they did not start an exercise program. They did not eat differently. They just took Juice Plus, and they brought them back, fed them the same high-fat meal, and measured that constriction in this artery again. And what they found was incredible. After just 28 days, the group on the fruit and vegetable had 68% less constriction, which was incredible. So eating that meal, the body was conditioned better and could handle that and did not clamp down as much. You don't want your arteries clamped down. You want them open and things flowing. But the third group on the fruits, veggies, and berries, they had 97% less constriction, basically no constriction at all, which is incredible to me. Now, my husband heard that study and he's like, awesome, I can eat Big Macs. And I'm like, because it was McDonald's. I'm like, no, that is not really what I was hoping you get out of the study. But here's the reality. We don't have to be perfect. And I love that Chandler said that. Like, we don't eat the greatest. You don't have to. We're not going to be perfect. But this is where Juice Plus really comes in and kind of just helps just cover that. And that's good. I mean, that's what we want, a simple change to be able to help us. So one thing I love about Juice Plus, you guys, is they do not have a huge product line. So we're not going to be here very much longer because we do just have our capsule line. And then we have our shakes and our bars, which is the macronutrition. So we do have a couple things that fill your belly, but are full of micronutrition too, right? So we can go to Quick Trip and get something, and that's not going to be filled with micronutrition, or we can choose something like this, which I call healthy fast food because it is quick, it is easy, but it's filled with micronutrition, 14 different plants, balanced, and ton of fiber. So it really helps balance your blood sugar, and they taste delicious. My kids ask for these every single day. I have 8 children, so I usually don't say yes to every one of them every single day, but usually, they get one each is a couple times a week. So we love them here for snacks, and they're really a great breakfast or smoothie too. And then finally, we have our plant-based omega. If anybody here has ever taken a fish oil, that's what this is. But Juice Plus figured out that we don't need to go to the fish. The fish actually don't have omegas. They go to algae. That's where they do. No animal has omegas, just like us. We don't have omegas. We have to get them. So the fish is eating the algae. So we just said, let's cut out the middleman, the middle fish, and go straight to the algae. So this is all plants, full spectrum, and it is incredible. One of the best things to me about it is it doesn't taste like fish, because when I used to take a fish oil, you would be burping up fish. And I don't know about you, but that is never pleasant. So this tastes like orange. And I actually chew it up, which is kind of funny, but I do. And I said there were 3 things that make Juice Plus unique, but there's actually a 4th. And this is one of my favorite things. This is actually how I got started on Juice Plus. And that is because somebody offered to sponsor my child because they were taking Juice Plus. So when an adult takes Juice Plus, you can sponsor a child from the age of 4 to 25. So as long as an adult is taking Juice Plus, you can sponsor a child. And we do have chewables for children that may not, be able to swallow capsules. So you can choose chewables or you can choose capsules. But either way, it is an incredible, incredible value. And I absolutely love that this is what our company is all about. So I think that is really the end of my time. I'm going to see if Jeanette is, yes, Jeanette's on. I have my friend Jeanette on, who is going to share a little bit about her story and how she found out about Juice Plus. So Jeanette, if you want to unmute yourself, we'd love to hear from you.
Okay, well, thanks for having me. And it looks like you have a great group here. I love sharing my story like I have for 22 years now. I heard about Juice Plus from a girl that cut my hair. I asked her what it was. She had it sitting there and she said, I don't really know what it is, but you can listen to this CD. It is like a salad bar in a capsule. So I thought that sounded pretty interesting because I had tried to juice and it was just expensive and messy. And I had long put that juicing machine away. But at the time, I was 40 years old. My children were 14, 11, and 7. And my 7-year-old suffered with asthma, allergies, eczema, and vitiligo. And vitiligo is where you lose pigment in your skin. So a little bit what our life was like. He missed at least one day of school a week. We were at the pediatrician's office 4 to 5 times a month. He was on 7 prescriptions. He could not really play sports. He could barely even play outside. He wet the bed. He had ADHD. We were constantly getting calls from school how he was, disrupting the class. And although he was really bright, he was always trying to be silly. And anyway, so needless to say, he was pretty miserable. And I just have to tell you, as a mom, I mean, the whole situation broke my heart. And so many years of sleepless nights and worry and concern and praying and wondering what was to become of him. And it was just I looked at the pediatrician's office like it was a prison. I thought, how are we ever going to get out of here? And I would always ask the pediatrician if there was anything else I could do, or was it just about these prescriptions, which most of them said um, for children 12 and older. And he was only 7 at the time when we found Juice Plus, and he was already on 7 prescriptions. So she just, kept saying, there's nothing you can do. The prescriptions will be okay. I don't know what else to tell you. And so, I mean, it was really heartbreaking. It was really sad. And it was a hard time. But when we found Juice Plus, I didn't think it was going to really have any impact on his health, because back then, 22 years ago, I really wasn't putting nutrition with everyday health. I just thought long term, we need to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. And we didn't. So we all got started on Juice Plus, and I kept listening to more and more information, more and more doctors that were talking about Juice Plus. And I kept telling myself, this is food. This is food. I can give him more, because we can eat more salad if we want, right? If you want more salad, or if you want a salad and a cup full of blueberries, you can have that. And so the more I listened, the more I realized I could actually give him more. And I did. And so over time, within a couple of months, he was off all of his prescription medication. You don't need to use eye drops if your eyes aren't swollen shut. You don't need to use the steroid cream on his arms if he hasn't scratched himself raw. And his teacher even called me and said, he's happier, he's content, he's focused, he's a different child. What are you doing? And I said, I am giving him these silly little pink and green capsules, and I don't want to jinx it, but it's fruits and vegetables in a capsule, and it is changing something. And I didn't know that it was his gut biome back then. But it changed everything. And now today he's 29. He is graduated from high school, the strongest kid in his senior class. So he went from the sickest in first grade to the strongest. And he just has a wonderful career. He also, for his passion, he plays lead guitar in a really popular band in St. Louis. And he's just funny and delightful and happy. And I'm going to tell you, it completely changed his life. And so then it completely changed my life. And I thought, if I got out of that prison, I know I can help other moms. Mm-hmm. And so, just so you know, you don't, it's not just for sick people. Okay. Fruits and vegetables are for everyone. And it just made so much sense to me, because there was no way we were getting that as a family. And now I have 9 healthy, happy grandchildren, and we give it to them all during the pregnancy. And then when they're 6 months old, we open the capsules and pour it right in their mouths. So here I am 22 years later, and my son still, takes as much Juice Plus as he can afford. And he loves it. My whole family loves it. And it's just been a wonderful, wonderful experience. And when you can help someone, there's nothing like that helper's high, especially when it's your own family. So it's given us a lot of peace and a lot of happiness and many, many awesome memories instead of we were going down. So,
thank you, Jeanette. I always love hearing that story, and just, the power of doing something so small and yet so profound. And I think, if you guys think back to that presentation, it's about those systems. So she started giving him those capsules, and his system started working. And here's the deal: the body knows how to heal. So we think it's, normal that our body's breaking down. And, again, we're getting all diagnosed with all these different diseases, but the body wants to heal. We just have to be able to support it and give it what it needs. So, you know what? I just love Juice Plus for the simplicity of my family with 8 children, just be able to hand it out every night at dinner. And I, for one of my children, it totally walked him out of a serious asthma problem where he was being hospitalized. We changed nothing else. but Juice Plus, which is what got my attention for this whole thing in the beginning. But I often wonder how many things we've avoided because we take Juice Plus. Like, yes, I have a story about Elijah, and I share that story because there are so many moms that are dealing with asthmatic kids and think that their life needs to be an inhaler for the rest of their life. And I'm here to say that doesn't have to be their story. But I also think about my other children who are healthy. And I think, what have we avoided? What things haven't we gotten because we're doing this, one simple thing? So thank you guys so much for taking time out and supporting Chandler and hearing about Juice Plus. I'm so glad to see you all. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.